Habs lose 6-1. Yes, 6-1 against their red hot St. Louis Blues. And my cat does not cooperate, and I need a lot of consolation. Because that was tough to watch. I'm sure if you watched it starting an hour later, so ending a little later than your usual 7 p.m. Eastern start, that was not something you enjoyed watching too much. It's 3-4 games in a row now that the Habs start on the back foot. They came back against Ottawa and they won with 5 goals in the third period. Amazing. And sure, they were the better team against Ottawa, but they started losing and we had to come back. And then against the Islanders, again, you could argue the Habs were the better team, but you were again behind in the third period and you had to come back. You lose in overtime. Okay. Then against the Avs, okay, the Avs, they're an amazing team. They have this amazing roster. They're aiming for the Stanley Cup and whatever. You get dominated the first period, you're behind, you come back, you get 1 point, you lose in the shootout. Okay, the Habs, yay. Now against the Blues, the same story again. The Blues, you get dominated the first period, you're behind. This time you don't come back. It's a slap back to reality. Yes, the Habs are still playing good hockey, and they still showed a little bit in that game that they want to be here and they want to play these meaningful games. And thankfully, the rest of the East all lost yesterday, so nobody gained any ground and everything stayed the same in the standings. But the Habs, they're not helping themselves. They're just not being the best version of themselves if they want to keep pushing for these playoffs. And it's been a couple it's been a couple games where Montembeault bails the team and they succeed, or the team bails Montembeault and they succeed. Yesterday, Montembeault started by bailing out the team. He was making all the saves possible until he just couldn't do it anymore, and the Blues had so many shots that they eventually figured him out. And the team tried to bail him out, and they couldn't. They just get 1 goal, but they get scored immediately right after. And in the second period and onwards, they can't score anymore. And then Montembeault, yeah, he should have had a few of those, sure. Neither bailed each other out. I think Montembeault is tired. I think Dobish needs to get the next start, maybe against Philly. You can't play the same goalie twice, honestly, Philly and then the Hurricanes. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who you play, because usually, or what I've seen done before, is that you play your best goalie on the game you think you're going to win the most, which should be against Philly, given the standings and how everything's been going for Philly and Carolina. So you probably want to secure 2 points against Philadelphia and then hopefully hope for a miracle on the next day against Carolina, right? But so what do? Do you start Montembeault against Philly and then Dobish against Carolina, or do you rest Montembeault for an extra day because he's clearly tired? He's clearly not playing as good as he usually plays, or as well as he was playing the first period. The first period he was great. The third period he looked really shaky, and even the second period he looked shaky. Like the goal, I think there was their third or fourth goal that was on a rebound. He completely went the other way, barely got the first shot, and it was super out of position for the rebound. He was never going to get that. Sure, the defense wasn't helping him. Like I said, nobody was bailing each other at any point. but he looks shaky. He looks shaky in the second period, and obviously on the third, on that shot that just like got in his glove and then in. That was a little sad to see because the team was still pushing hard. The team was still trying to come back, and we had the momentum by that point. And suddenly it was just quiet after it was 5-1, because like, yeah, you're fighting hard and then you're down by 3. You came back against the Avalanche in a similar situation, so you can still do it with 10 minutes to go. Maybe you can still do the same thing you just did on Saturday, but then like a defenseman from the point puts a shot in and it just goes through your goalie, and now you're down by 4 with less time to go. Like, yeah, I don't blame the team for getting deflated after that. And I don't blame Montembeault either. Like, they were already in a situation you don't want to be. There's this poem by William Ernest from 1985 or something like that. No, not 1885. Called Invictus. There's a movie, actually, really good movie. It's rugby, South Africa, called by the same name, Invictus. And there's a part in the poem that they say, the last bit actually, is "You're the master of your destiny," or "I am the master of my destiny. I am the captain of my soul." And it's very highlighted in the movie, and it was something I watched as a kid, because again, super into rugby and all that, and very much into the Springboks and the whole 1995 Cup they had, but this is a hockey channel. So anyways, that poem, I really like it, and I really think it applies to sports, and especially to a team that is trying hard to become something better, like the Habs at this moment. And I do really think that they are the masters of their destiny at this moment, especially given the whole situation for the push of this playoffs, where the other teams are not doing any favors to themselves, and the Habs have had a few opportunities now to start building a gap, and we haven't been able to. So they really need to get the 2 points against Philly. They need those 2 points. Philly has not been good lately. I think they've lost 6 in a row or 4 in a row, and they've been scored on like 12, outscored by 12 in the last 2 games or something like that. They just lost like 6 or 7-2 against Toronto yesterday, so they are struggling. And we need to take advantage of that. We need to get those 2 points, because then we're playing Carolina, which, yes, we beat, but they're not an easy team to beat, in Carolina especially. And then we go and play the Panthers, who, again, we've beat twice, but they know that, and they know they haven't been playing good against us, so I'm sure that's not going to be an easy game either. So, okay, I know I might be overreacting to just one loss, right? The Habs have gotten points in like 14 out of their 16 games after the 4 Nations or something like that. Like, yes, overall it's been great, and in a vacuum, yes, that was a horrible game, and you could start pinpointing a lot of things, but in the overall month or the last bit that the Habs have been playing, it hasn't been bad, right? It's been pretty good, yes, but what am I scared of? What I don't want to see, what I don't want to think more than anything, is that the Habs are crumbling to the pressure. Hear me out. The Habs were playing well in January, right? They had a good string of games. They won like 9 of their 11 or something like that. They were playing really well. They started to get a lot of attention, carried by the fourth line, which I'm going to get to in a second here. But eventually they started losing. When did they start losing? Do you remember? Yeah, when they got to that playoff spot, they were like, "Ooh, the Habs are in a playoff position in January," and then suddenly like 6 losses in a row or close to that. It was like 2 losses, 1 win against San Jose, and then 4 losses again before the 4 Nations break, and suddenly we're out of the playoffs. Now we're again in a playoff position in March, and the next few games are gonna be very important, because if we repeat history from what we saw in January, and we start losing because the pressure starts getting to them, they're gonna get out of the playoffs, right? So the good things are, you want the team to have this pressure right now when they're not expected to win, right? Because you need to get used to this pressure of fighting for the playoffs, fighting in the playoffs once you get in there, right? This is stuff that teams build on, right? And like, this is good pressure that you're gonna have to deal with if you want to ever get a Stanley Cup, right? So it's good that they're dealing with this. I hoped, and I still hope, that they are already a team that does not get affected by this pressure. Yes, the Blues are hot. Yes, they are a good team right now and they play really well. But what I saw from the Habs yesterday was not good enough. And it wasn't a good game compared to how they have played before. So that's why I'm a little worried that this can be a little bit of the pressure getting to them. Now I'm going to get a little more into the game per se. So I'm going to get the good things immediately right off the bat, because Hudson gets a point. Amazing. Caulfield gets a point. Suzuki gets a goal. Great. I think those were good. So I think Slavkovsky played well. Other than that, not more. Newkirk was still flying fast. I think it seems a little more adapted and synergizing with the line. I think I like that. And yeah, Montembeault was good the first period. It was a good drive by the first line to get a goal right after being scored on. That was great. And the other thing is that all the other teams competing for that wildcard spot in the East lost. That's about it, really. Yeah. Anyways, now the bad. I didn't like Struble. Struble has been great lately. Has been amazing. I wonder if Gooley being back with the team made him be really nervous. Made him try extra hard. He was bobbling every puck. He was overskating it. He got benched pretty fast in his first shift. If you were paying attention, he overskated it, and the Blues got a scoring chance. After that, it was Jacky with Hudson out for a little bit. So Struble got benched immediately for a shift, and then he was back out there again, but he looked shaky. He wasn't good, and you want the opposite. You want that when Gooley is back, you want Struble to play the best he's ever been, or get a step further, because he's been playing so well. And now that Gooley is back, you expect Struble to try even harder to be even better. But I think he was trying even harder and not being focused. I don't know, but I didn't like that at all. And hopefully that doesn't mean that they're gonna try to rush Gooley back. Because I really don't want a Landeskog-ish injury on Gooley, where his leg is just not strong enough, so he starts overcompensating with his knee, and then he has a long-term knee injury. You don't want that to happen on Gooley. Obviously he's younger, but you want to be careful with that. So I really, really hope they don't rush him. I really hope that they take the best decision for the long term. I like how Struble has been playing, but I didn't like Struble yesterday at all. I didn't like Savard yesterday at all, and I think that also, I don't think Savard's play has been good lately at all, in general. I don't think he gets affected by Gooley being back, but I also don't think Savard is getting replaced by Gooley. Because I don't think Martin has the balls to take out a veteran who's on his last playing games for the Habs. So yeah, I think Struble is the odd man out, and with his play yesterday, he didn't do himself any favors. So I didn't like that at all. I obviously didn't like Montembeault on the third period, or in the second or third period. I didn't like Anderson in general. He was fast, but he wasn't hitting. He's best when he's being a train out there. He was a little invisible. He looked a little hurt, actually. He took a very short shift at one point. Like he went onto the boards and like he immediately changed. I don't know if like it could have been something with his equipment. I don't know that part of hockey, but like I noticed a very short shift. I didn't like Laine. He looked really bitchy. He was complaining a lot. He got he got tripped at some point in the third period, but then he stayed on the ice for like a whole 10 seconds when like the puck was still moving around on our zone. Like, get up, man. Get up, and yes, bitch onto to the official after they blow the whistle, but the play is still going. They can still score on us, and you're down by 3. What the fuck are you doing standing there on the ice? Like, they didn't blow the whistle immediately. I didn't like the refs also. Like, what was that point? Like, at some point, Newhook takes a dumb penalty, which, yes, again, we had a couple dumb penalties that we need to stop taking. Newhook takes a dumb penalty on a hooking call in the offensive zone, but then, like, what has the puck? He throws a pass, and then the Blues get it. And I thought, because the arm went up, and then Roy had the puck, I thought it was a penalty in favor of us. And then Roy sends it out, and the Blues get it, and they don't blow the whistle. And then me and also the casters are like, hey, you know, apparently it's a penalty in favor of the Blues because they have the puck and they haven't blown the whistle. But Roy had the puck. Why didn't you blow the whistle right there? Okay, anyways, that happened. So yeah, I am fairly bitchy. I didn't like a lot of the game. I didn't like the Habs played. I know the Blues were great. I know the Blues were skating a lot faster, a lot harder than the Habs were, but the Habs were not doing themselves any favor either. Like, so many giveaways. Patrick Laine had like 5 horrible giveaways. Slavkovsky had a couple bad giveaways too. Gallagher had a couple bad giveaways too. Matheson had a couple giveaways. Like, everyone. Like, I think Suzuki and Caulfield were the only ones that didn't give away the puck at some point horribly. Like, Newhook had the puck and got stripped by one of the best Blues player. I forget whose name is. He scored twice or something. And Kyrou, maybe. He gets stripped and they get a good scoring chance in the first. Like, they were ahead of the Habs the whole time, but the Habs were also like not handling the puck well, not giving accurate passes. It was always an extra bounce. They were always a step behind. Like, again, yes, the Blues were good, but the Habs were not competing up to the level. They were always a level behind. Be it speed, positioning, puck handling, it was not good. Yes, they calmed things down a little bit during the like last 5 minutes of the first and a little bit during the second, but what was that effort the last minute? We score, it's tied. We're like, yay, we're gonna go to the tunnel with a tie game. Tied at 1, and we were the team that scored last, so you know it's good for the player's psyche, like being the team that scored last, because you keep on that momentum and you bring it into the second period, and then 10 seconds left and you get scored on like that from a shot from the point that gets redirected with 10 seconds left. You know they're gonna push like that. We had the puck. Not good enough. Just not good enough. Anyways, there's a lot of things I didn't like, but like I said, it could be a one-off. It could be just the pressure got to them, or it could be they just had a bad game, and it happens. Like, you're not gonna win everything, and I know you're gonna lose some games, but losing 6-1 sucks. That just not nice. I don't mind losing. It's how you lose. I did see a little bit of effort in the third. I didn't like Linus' attitude. I didn't mind Jaka and Anderson both taking misconducts because they're frustrated. Sure, they're frustrated. Fine. Show you're frustrated. It wasn't good enough. Anyways. Back to reality, like I said. So hopefully they realize that there's a lot of things they need to improve. Excuse me. One last thing I want to mention. I saw this weird pattern on the first 3 Blues goals, where you know how the Habs have a very tight defensive system, where it's a hybrid system. So when the puck is behind the goal line, they run a zone defense. But when the puck is in front of the goal line, they run a man-on-man. And the man-on-man that they run is fairly tight, meaning that they're following their man like everywhere. They're shadowing, right? And what the Blues were doing is that they were, it felt like on purpose, crossing 2 players. So whenever the Habs player would be following the other person that was crossing, there would be a lot of traffic, and they would on purpose have 2 Blues player, the player with the puck, and then the player that the other Habs was shadowing. They move on ahead, so the player that has the puck against the defender that is on them, right, now has 2 players in between, because he has the blue guy that was in front of them, and the Habs guy that was trying to follow, and that was giving them space. That was giving them enough room to shoot. Look again at the first 3 goals. All 3 of them are like that, where up on the point they cross, so there's a lot of traffic, and that gives them an extra half a second. That's all they need to put the puck on net. And Montembeault was not able to follow because, again, a lot of traffic. And then the other ones were, or first, I think it was the first 4 goals, not the second one. Anyways, but I noticed that they did that a lot. So I wonder if teams are going to catch up to that, because it's a copycat league. Everybody knows that. And if a team like Philly or Carolina wants to beat the Habs, and they study what the Blues did and they notice that and they try to replicate it, I think it's not too hard to replicate. I think the Habs might have to adapt to that, and they would have to adapt fast if they don't want all the teams to catch up and do exactly that, because yeah, like every time they did it, the puck ended up in our net. Or that's what I noticed anyways. Okay, I'm gonna end it there. Don't forget, leave all your feedback, the good, the bad, and yeah, big game, Philly Thursday, and then Carolina Friday, back to back. I wonder who's starting Thursday. Dobish, Montembeault. I think it's going to be Montembeault on Thursday and Dobish on Friday. They're going to give Dobish the harder game, and we're going to try to give Montembeault a Philly, try to secure the win. That's my opinion of what they're going to do. That's not what I would do personally. I think I would play Dobish on Thursday, give Montembeault a little bit of extra rest, and have him play against Carolina. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. So we'll see. Important games. We're still in the mix. We're still in the wildcard position because everybody else lost. So we got lucky. We can't count on our luck too much. Tonight, on Wednesday night, the Isles are playing, and if they win, they're gonna pass us. We're gonna still have a game on hand. So in theory, we're still gonna be ahead in points percentage. But yeah, it's very tight, and we're not doing ourselves any favors. We're the masters of our own destiny, and we need to push. See you after the Thursday game. Go Habs, go.